You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, General Hospital fans. This is Soap Dirt on YouTube, and today we want to talk about Valentin Cassadine and the fact that as of this week on GH, he is officially an orphan. Both of his awful parents are dead. We want to talk about this. If you haven't already, reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our General Hospital spoilers, news, updates, casting news, comings and goings, everything you need to know about your favorite ABC soap opera. So let's talk about this because of interest is in over the last week of episodes, we have seen both of Valentin Cassadine's parents on General Hospital, even though one of them died years ago. And so it was kind of interesting that having Constance Towers back as Helena Cassadine and then seeing Victor Cassadine die and as Charles Shaughnessy exited, that it kind of comes full circle because Valentin, has this tragic backstory that they've been carefully unpacking over the last many years since they hired James Patrick Stuart. And I think we all can agree that he's been a great hire. He's a phenomenal actor. He has this sensitivity and this vulnerability. And then they wrote him this compelling backstory. And everything has shifted for him when they changed the reveal of who his parents were, which, came, close to a year ago. And so this week we saw that the haunted star got droned by the WSB and they blew it up. And then they were told that a body was found and everybody was really scared that it was Spencer Cassadine because he was on the boat trying to get the pathogen away from his awful great uncle, Victor Cassadine. But then by the end of the episode, Spencer showed up and Trina pounced on him in joy and everybody was relieved that they didn't leave us hanging for a while with, oh, is Spencer dead? Is Spencer alive? No, they cleared it up in really 1.5 episodes. So Spencer's alive, Victor Cassadine is dead. And they brought him on board whatever ship or whatever facility they're at. And there he is in the body bag. And he didn't look that bad for somebody who had been droned. He had a little kind of an abrasion and a couple of bruises and, the whole corpsey makeup job. But really, he should have been a crispy critter. I don't think you walk away from being droned like that, looking that good. But of course, they probably didn't want to spend the money making him a crispy critter. And we wanted to get one last look at Charles Shaughnessy as Victor Cassadine. Also with Cassadines, they don't die easily because do you remember, this is not the first time that Victor Cassadine has blown up and was presumed dead. So while we're discussing Victor being dead, I just want to add that caveat that unless we see him go toes first into the crematorium, and even then, it's a soap opera, I don't know that we can just say he's dead. However, the last time he was blown up, he was left for dead. This time they fished him out of the waters in Greenland. So he certainly does look dead as a doornail. If you don't remember, he was shot by Liesl Obrecht and then left for dead in Crichton Clark, that creepy clinic where they were doing all kinds of shady science. And it blew up with him supposedly inside it. That was back when Theo Pinglis played the role. And he was supposedly dead. And then lo and behold, we get Charles Shaughnessy several years later. So Cassadines are like cockroaches. They are very hard to kill, very hard to kill. Even Nicholas Cassadine right now is somewhere on a breathing machine, even though Ava was certain she bludgeoned him to death. So you never want to count out a Cassadine. But this time, it definitely looks like Valentin's parents are both dead. Now, if you don't remember Valentin's really bizarre backstory, he basically was born with some physical deformities and issues. They've played it a few times in flashbacks, but this was years ago where he kind of had a hunch on his back. He was literally like a hunchback. And he was tormented because he had fallen for Anna when they were in training for the WSB decades and decades ago. And he always thought she saw them as this grotesque creature and he really loved her. And then, of course, Alex, her twin, tricked him and slept with him, and he thought it was Anna, but now he knows in hindsight that it wasn't. It was just Alex messing with him. And then he got surgery and all this stuff, and now he's the handsome guy that you see now, but he has this vulnerability, this marshmallow center because of that trauma of growing up that way. And when Helena talks to him, when she's talked to him in the past, like in these flashback things, she has picked on him for his physical malformations. That was why she didn't want him around. She didn't want him around because she didn't want Mikos to be upset and hurt him since he wasn't Mikos' son. And B, he said she found him appalling because he wasn't a perfect physical specimen. So he has got deep-seated mommy and daddy issues. And then in this past week, of course, Victor decided to use him as a guinea pig for the pathogen because his father's horrible. There's nothing else to say for it. He's just horrible. And he dosed him with the pathogen, and then he was bleeding out. And that's when Helena showed up. And gosh, wasn't it delightful to have Constance Towers back as Helena Cassadine? She's so vicious and so spiteful. And of course, he was hallucinating her. So the things coming out of her mouth were more like things coming out of his own brain, like horrible inner thoughts, his inner dialogue about how his awful mother saw him, things like that. So it was just horrible watching her torment him while he was dying and basically saying that she was going to drag him into hell for eternity with her. And then, of course, Anna showed up, and then Felicia showed up with the antidote, and they were able to reverse it. But the bottom line is everything has changed for him this week because he kind of saw his mom again, and then he is done with his dad. Like, there is nothing between he and his dad. He and his dad were splintered permanently the moment that Valentin saw Anna get shot by Victor. That was like the end, but this time at least he's got closure because there's his dad's corpse, and he kind of raged. He had this like angsty rage thing at the corpse telling him, I'm glad you're gone, and now I'm going to make the Cassadine name something we can be proud of. And certainly the Cassadine name carries with it the cachet of wealth, but not of being a good person or something to be proud of, because the Cassadines are generally ruthless and terrible. I mean, Spencer Cassadine shows up his bad side all the time, and Victor himself was supposed to be the scariest of all the Cassadines, but he has proven to be a mushy sort because he's fallen in love. So it's kind of nice, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for Valentin now that he's got this monkey off his back, that he doesn't have the onus of his parents lurking around and him feeling bad because he is the offspring of these two uber villains. If you haven't already, reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our General Hospital spoilers, casting updates, everything you need to know about your favorite ABC soap opera. So we would definitely like to hear your thoughts. Share it in the comments below. Tell us what you think. Do you think that this whole thing is a turning point for Valentin? Is he going to be more confident? Is he going to be less angsty? Is he going to be lighter? I mean, obviously he loves Anna and that relationship has been really good for him, but he's still been carrying just this weight on him from his horrible childhood and the horrible way his parents treated him. And, Victor wasn't even in his life. And so all these revelations over the past few years, his character arc has been amazing. It's been like Mount Everest, just up and over, just this huge arc. And for me, Valentin is one of my favorite characters to watch, and James Patrick Stuart is a revelation every time he's on the screen. He's so talented, and I'm excited to see what's next for him and where they take his character next now that he's unburdened because he's an orphan. And for most people, that would be a tragedy, but in his case, it seems like it's a moment of triumph.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.